So now we're going a little deeper in toward the joint capsule. And this is one of my favorite ones that I show a lot of people, almost all my clients. What I see a lot is that people have pretty good external rotation. You know how to turn on your glutes, you know how to bring those hips into external rotation. A lot of times what people are missing is internal rotation. A really important thing is that your hip joint inside, it glides the same way for internal rotation as it does for hip flexion. So if we're losing our internal rotation, we're losing that posterior glide. That happens the same as internal rotation as flexion. So you can imagine you'll be able to squat better, you'll be able to free up those hips once we find that rotation within the hip joint a little bit better. So the way that I get into this is sitting on the back of the mat, bringing the legs up at about a 90-degree angle because they're going to shift right over. You can always adjust, so I'm going to adjust. I want to make sure that my front leg is at about a 90-degree angle. I have about 90 degrees between my legs, and my back leg is also at 90 degrees, okay? First one is I'm going to focus on external rotation of my front leg. As you can see for me, it's a little bit more limited, okay? Everyone's hips are going to be different. We're born differently. We're shaped differently. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. It's just within what you feel in your body. So first, I'm going to come forward toward my external rotation in my front leg. I'm going to lift my belly button and start to drive forward. What you want to feel is a glute stretch in this side that you're coming forward. Try to turn off this back leg. Sometimes people might cramp, sometimes people might feel like it's getting really tight back here. It's because you're turning it on and you're forcing yourself into this position. Okay, try to turn off this leg completely so it's not putting any action on. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna come forward, okay? So draw that belly button up and then start to lean forward. You're gonna be here for about 2 minutes at a time, okay? So 2 minutes here. You're just going to breathe. What you want to try to do is get those muscles to completely turn off and relax. Try to turn that nervous system into a more parasympathetic state of rest and relaxation. Okay, so you're just breathing into this stretch. Maybe you don't feel a lot. Maybe you already have a lot of external rotation. Totally fine. Maybe you don't need to hold it for 2 minutes. After about 2 minutes, you're going to start to push this leg down into the ground. So you're going to press down into the ground for about 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, you're going to pull it up towards your body, thinking of lifting. So my inner thigh is going to be firing, and I'm going to try to lift it toward my body. Again, my chest hasn't moved anywhere. Okay, about 5 seconds there, and then relax back into the stretch for about another minute. If this foot falls asleep, please shake it out, get out of the position. It's not something that you have to work through, okay? Then I'm gonna shift my body weight over into internal rotation. All I'm doing is I'm gonna shift back. I'm gonna think of sitting down on the ground for this one. Okay, so it's going to be another 2-minute hold. You might feel it more in the inner thigh. You might feel it wrapping around the hip. It's because it's getting deeper into that joint capsule. If this is uncomfortable, if you feel any popping pain or discomfort, please back off of it a little bit. We're resting and relaxing into this. It's not something that you're forcing and something that is unnatural, okay? Some people, and what's really fun to do, maybe not fun, I don't know, is that you have a muscle called your tensor fasciae latae or your TFL. I like to call it your coffee muscle because it's your tensor fasciae latae, and I think that's kind of fun. But it comes off, so here's the front of your hip joint right here, so you should feel your bony prominence, and then right off of it, right here, that leads into that famous IT band is going to be your TFL. So kind of getting your elbow and just kind of sitting into it. Again, not too much pressure, not too much pain. We're not digging anything out. We're just applying a little bit of a release into the stretch. It feels real good sometimes, especially when you have a lot of hip issues going on. Okay, so we're just going to kind of sit into it. You don't need a foam roller. You don't need a ball. All you need is good old elbow or a little thumb. Okay, again, don't put too much pressure. It's not something that we're going to try to turn the nervous system on. We're just relaxing into the stretch. So again, after about 2 minutes of this stretch, you're going to think of pressing this leg down into the ground. So we're pressing down for about 5 seconds, as much as you can, and then you're going to keep this knee on the ground and lean away as much as you need to until you can start to drive that foot off the ground. Hold that for 5 seconds. then relax back into it. So what we've done, we've just opened up that joint, we've opened up the muscles, now we've stabilized around the joint, so it's really important to do to get that max contraction so we start to build active range, active mobility, okay? After about another minute there, we're gonna switch to the other side. So it's really nice to just lift that leg as much as you can and then let the other leg come back, and you'll do the exact same thing on the other side. After you've done 2 minutes and then a 1 minute relaxation, 2 minutes and a 1 minute relaxation on each side, you can take it through active range. So now we start to move, we start to open. You can challenge your body, come forward, come up, open. You can find different, maybe it comes a little closer to you, maybe you lean a little bit further, maybe you don't go too far, that's okay, but really kind of opening it up. I like to do at least 5 on each side, and then I get into like my squat routine. Anything else, it really helps to open everything up. Increase your power, increase your range, increase your strength.